What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with the overall market real quick and talk about why the market has more downside potential looking at the current setups. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below or use my QR code right over here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia plus a $100 cash reward. Deposits $10,000 or more to get $300 worth of Nvidia plus $100, or deposits $50,000 or more to get $1,000 of free Nvidia stock plus $100. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends very soon, so please use my link down below. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So I'm very, very late today, guys. I had a little bit of an emergency. What happened was I was in my house and I saw a lizard inside of my living room, and it basically crawled into my bedroom, and it was a pretty big lizard. I don't know how it got in, and must have come from my front door somehow. And this lizard was in my room running all over the place, and I wasn't trying to harm it. My goal was just to capture it and let it go, and that took a while. That was kind of exhausting because you guys know how lizards are very fast. They crawl really quickly in small crevices and spaces. But I managed to capture it and I let it go. And the lizard was unharmed, but it was not a very pleasant experience. Obviously, lizards are, it's not fun to see them in your bedroom, let alone your bed. And it was very, very tough. So that took up a lot of my time. That's why I'm super late today, and I want to make this video kind of like quick. It was also very exhausting to fight a lizard for a long time. But anyways, what's happening with the markets? The market took a massive hit. It was not good. What we saw, there are tensions between the U.S. and China. President Trump put on his Truth Social page. If you guys want to see what he posted, just look at my previous video. I went over his post. There are export restrictions coming from China on minerals that U.S. stocks, U.S. tech companies depend a lot on when it comes to like semiconductors, EVs, especially batteries and such, and all these different products. And with these export restrictions, President Trump saw this as a threat. He said that China was being very hostile. So he is now threatening countermeasures against China, and he's saying that he wants to impose a 100% tariff on China. President Trump said it right over here that he wants to implement a 100% tariff on China next month because of what they're doing. There were some sources saying that he wants to cancel his meeting with Xi Jinping, but other sources, and what I heard him say was that he plans on meeting him in 2 weeks. So I'm seeing conflicting things, but either way, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of tension right now, and this is going to have a very, very big effect on tech, a lot of effects on different products, and the list goes on if there truly is that 100% tariff on China. So we're going to see what happens, okay? And the market has been dumping for now, and we're still looking bearish. Now, I also want to talk about something else. I was actually pre-recording a video using Forecaster in my video yesterday, and I haven't uploaded the video yet. I basically talked about how Tesla, Nvda, and the QQQ were holding up. And at the time I recorded my video, we were at all-time highs, right? And I said there's going to be some downside risk coming looking at our projections. Although it did not show at that time when I was recording the video, the charts were still bullish at that time, as the QQQ did break all-time highs again. But I said there's a weakness and we're going to see a lot of risk, and I would not buy Tesla, Nvidia, and these other stocks at the high levels because there's downside risk in October. Our AI projection tools were telling us that. And what's funny is that I uploaded that video. It's not public yet. I'm going to upload it tomorrow. And even though when you guys watch that video, you're going to see the QQQs at all-time highs, I talk about how there's going to be a risk of downside coming. In the month of October, I also talked about how our tools suggest there's going to be a big sell-off coming to Tesla and Nvidia. And then right after I posted the video, the day after, the whole market tanked. So that's like the idea. You guys could watch my video, which was pre-recorded on Thursday, where I talked about how there's risk of downside coming to the markets. And lo and behold, it ended up happening the day after, right? Not just, I wasn't just broadly talking about SPY and the QQQ. I was talking about Tesla and Nvidia in that video. So watch my video tomorrow. It's very interesting. And it's me predicting there's going to be some kind of sell-off on Tesla and Nvidia. And then the real thing happened the day after. So that's the very, very interesting thing. Anyways, so what's happening to the markets now? Are we going to dump more? Well, yes, we look very, very weak on the daily. So when you get these huge red bars and you break structure, we have not seen this since like early this year, right? The last time we got a big red bar like this was back in like February, right? When we started breaking structure, right? And typically when you see big red bars like that, you're going to continue to go lower. We're not just going to make a V-shaped recovery unless we get some really, really good news. But SPY has a gap to fill at 640. There's also gaps to fill at 600. This could be the start of the October correction we've been talking about, right? We weren't seeing signs of it for so long as the market remained bullish, but all of a sudden we get some bad news and now the market's shifting. We'll see if we gap down, bounce a bit, and then we're going to likely continue to fall to start filling some of these gaps. Even if we dip to whether it's 610 or like these previous all-time highs in the 610s or 600, if we do dump all the way down to these levels, it's going to be a big buying opportunity for the end of the year because November and December, well, most notably December will likely be a bullish month, but this could be a big buying opportunity. This could just be the start of the market correction. So I'm not buying yet. I think we're going to see more downside. We're going to likely come down to fill the gaps in the 640 area or below on SPY. On the QQQ, I think the same thing's essentially going on. The triple Q also has some downside risk. We have a big gap to fill down here at 566, and then we also have our 584 supports. So I think that we might touch 584. We'll see if we bounce off that or not. And then ultimately, I think we easily dip for 565 or below. If not, all the way down to 531. But then whether it's the 560s or 530s, those are all buying opportunities for a massive bounce that's coming afterwards. I think there's a good chance that that's what's going to be end up happening. For the IWM, big gap down here at 226. I think there's more gaps below. For now, I think this could easily dump another, 15, 20 points. We're going to test 235. We'll see if we bounce off this a bit before continuing to fall. With the tension between the US and China, we're going to see what happens over the weekend if we get some kind of bounce or not. But I do think 226 will eventually come. ES needs to hold 6,600. If we do, we could bounce a bit. But then if we reject, I would not rule out us dipping back down towards the previous all-time high at 63.33. NQ, same thing. The previous highs could be tested at 23,000. We could bounce around 24,288, then reject and start dipping to 23,000 flat for more downside. Bitcoin could also continue to fall. We might retest 116,000 before continuing to fall. Tesla, it's super bearish. We have a head and shoulders like pattern. We'll see if we bounce a little bit or not, but ultimately there's a gap to fill at 395. We also may retest the previous highs at 370. I think Tesla has downside coming. I think that Nvda also has downside coming back down to 177 or below for another rejection move. Apple is going to likely be dipping back down to about 239 or below, so be ready. There's a gap to fill at 234. More downsides likely coming. Netflix is rejecting, could be coming down to fill the gap at 1164 or below. AMD, it's going to likely retest 200. We're going to see if that holds. If it doesn't hold, there's a big gap to fill here, but there is still some strong support at 187, so it might be dipping towards that. Coinbase may reject and start dipping lower for like 336 or below. Amazon got a huge rejection. I do see this testing 213. We'll see if we bounce or not. If not, we have a gap to fill at 209. Then eventually the low 200s are coming. Meta has a head and shoulders big rejection right here. We're going to see if we could hold 689. If not, we could be dumping to 674. Google's going to likely be dipping towards 228 or below. There's also a big gap to fill down here at 211. If that fills us, we're dipping more. Microsoft also could dip back down to fill this gap towards 502 or below. And then Oracle, if we end up losing 269, I think we test this. We're going to see if it holds. If not, there's a gap to fill at 240. So keep that in mind. The VIX is breaking out, and we have a gap to fill up here at 36.85. We're going to likely see more upsides. So we look really bearish right now. We'll see what happens over the weekend, though, between President Trump and Xi Jinping, between the US and China. Do we get some more news that helps us bounce a little bit first? But if anything, from a technical standpoint, it looks like we're going to likely start filling some gaps. And there's a lot of tension right now that could fuel a potential October correction. October is known for being a bearish month, and this could finally be time for the bears to rise. But keep in mind, this is just a temporary move because every time there's a correction, the market will eventually get bought back up in November and December. So I'll talk more about specific details about this market later on. I would say more on like Sunday. Tomorrow, my video is going to show the market near all-time highs because it was pre-recorded on Thursday. But pay attention to what I'm saying, because in that video, I talk about how there's going to be a big dip coming to Tesla, to Nvda, and the QQQ. Although they were holding up very nicely at the time I was recording the video, I did warn you guys about that. And I was quite confident, especially for Tesla and Nvidia. And I mentioned to you all that there is that risk of downside. I was also showing you guys a tool known as forecast that gives us projections of what's most likely going to happen. And this was telling us and screaming the market had some downside coming. We did not see that on the charts yet, but eventually, it was supposed to come, and then we ended up seeing it on Friday instead. So the next day, it ended up happening. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to upload the video, which was recorded on Thursday, which is me warning about the sell-off that was coming. And I hope you guys find value in everything like that. So I will give you guys the pre-recorded video from Thursday tomorrow. And then after that, on Sunday, I'll give you guys a really good analysis of what happens. But the reason why I want to wait some time is because, well, let's be a little patient and see if we get some updates from President Trump involving his tariffs, involving what's happening with China. Let's just be a little patient. Usually he gives us lots of tweets involving tariffs like around noon. At least that's for Pacific time. So maybe like 3 p.m. for Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. So by then, that's when President Trump starts tweeting about, or not tweeting, but putting on his Truth Social page about the tariffs and such. So let's wait some time. I'm going to be really patient for now, and I'll be back with a lot more updates. So please be on the lookout for my videos, turn notifications on, do what you have to do, guys. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.